Hello guys and girls, welcome back to another video. Today, I'm just going to be talking about something simple. Talking about why grading actually kind of sucks. Before you get all upset, not necessarily the grades themselves. I think grading itself is actually pretty cool. But the process of grading, honestly, is one of the worst experiences I feel like in the TCG hobby. And a lot of that has to do with a couple different factors. So I just want to dig into it today. So one of the first things I want to talk about today is like, why do we get graded? For some people like me, I got this card. This is a childhood card. I got this graded so it would stay protected. This is never going to get really damaged anymore because it's now in this protective case. So I don't have to worry about that card being damaged possibly. But for a lot of people, it's some glorified gambling, even more so on top of the TCG experience. A lot of cards are $30, $40. Suddenly, if you get a PSA 10, oh my gosh, now they're worth $150. A lot of it is glorified gambling in a sense. It's become extravagant. You now have Moonbryons and Sunbryons that if they get PSA 10s, jump thousands of dollars. So a lot of people, the reason why they enjoy grading, honestly, is just because of the expected value or the increase in value that they get from grading. Not necessarily for a lot of people for display. Some people do like displaying it, but a lot of people it's for that expected value increase that they get. And honestly, one of the worst things about grading is the fact that the transparency for the big players, PSA, CGC, and stuff like that, is that there isn't transparency. You send a card in that looks absolutely flawless, and suddenly it comes back and it's a PSA 9. No saying of why it is, what they saw, anything like that. No, it's just a 9. A lot of times, there's no consistency in it. You have people consistently breaking open PSA 9s, resubmitting them, suddenly it's a PSA 10 the next time they send it, or 2 times later. And it's like, if it was a PSA 9, it should always get a PSA 9. Why is it suddenly getting a 10? So the consistency of grading also is just not great. Why does this inconsistency exist, and why do we allow this to exist? I feel like as consumers we should demand more from our top players like PSA, because they should have to explain why something got a certain grade. It doesn't make sense that they are allowed to just not, and it's just left up to judgment. Everyone's just like, oh yeah, sounds good. And the reality is that PSA is at record-setting numbers right now. Grading is at an all-time high, more so than it even was in 2021. Obviously the turnaround time is a little bit lower, but everyone and their mom right now is chasing that 10. Everyone wants the PSA 10, and it's whether it's from cards that they open themselves, cards that they bought from a vendor or anything like that. Everyone is chasing that 10 right now. And honestly, I feel like it's kind of addictive, because if somebody gets back a 9 and they don't know the reason for why, they a lot of times, like I said earlier, will just break open the slab, resubmit it, and hope to get a better grade. If a card is actually said why it got a grade, so maybe the next time somebody looks at it, it's like, oh yeah, there's a white spot there, or there is that there in the ding in the corner, there's a ding in the corner, I won't resubmit it. But because everyone's always chasing that high of getting the 10, the flex of, oh, I got a 10, people keep doing it. So in the end, is grading really worth it? I'd say, for me personally, if you're just trying to protect old cards, preserve them, make sure that they don't get further damage, I'd say grading's 100% worth it. If you're somebody that is currently in the scene just trying to flip cards, make some extra money, grading could be detrimental. I mean, the turnaround times are now, what, like 3 months? If you buy a card current day and then go submit to PSA, and 3 months down the line, the now PSA 10 or the 9 is worth even less, you now lost money. It's even more of a gamble. So you have to ask yourself, is grading really worth it if you're trying to just make a quick flip or just get a PSA 10? You really gotta ask yourself. Now, like I said, if you're just trying to build stuff to display or show off or anything like that, I think grading's pretty cool. I like having some 10s, I like my 7s, I like my 5s. If you just want them to display, they're pretty cool. Anyway, that about wraps it up. I just kind of want to talk about the activity of grading today and how it's kind of weird. I think the thing of preserving your cards is a pretty smart idea. It does do that pretty well. I think the whole idea of just getting 10s to just get quick flips, it's kind of strange, participation of the hobby. But I know a lot of people do it, so can't really stop that. In fact, I don't even think people should stop grading. I think graded cards are really cool. But you have to admit, it is kind of a weird part of the hobby that we just kind of we just like getting PSA 10s and then people sell them for way more. They're 10 times the value. Kind of crazy. But yeah, I just kind of want to talk about grading today. If you could like and subscribe, greatly appreciate it. It goes a long way to helping the channel. So yeah, appreciate y'all.